We were like roommates with extra double S word benefits, but we still didn't provide the most healthy relationship or home for our family or kids. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Me, a 35-year-old male, and my wife, a 35-year-old female, are on the verge of divorce after becoming swingers. And big shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. Big shout out to Joseph, guys. This dude's been sending me a lot of good material lately, and I really appreciate him taking the time to research and send me this stuff. So give him a shout out in the comments section. Anyhow, guys, this story is yet another story about a guy who reluctantly went along with the swinger or poly or open marriage, whatever you want to call it, type of lifestyle to make his wife happy and essentially to protect his family. And more importantly, protect his kids. And to no surprise, it didn't work out very well. He obviously felt cheap and like a loser doing this. And ultimately, you're going to see, guys, that eventually he ends up meeting this girl that he really likes, that he then wanted to split up with his wife and move on. And to no surprise, the second he meets a gal who he really likes, feels a connection with, could leave this shitty marriage and lifestyle with and be exclusive with, then all of a sudden she wants to close the open marriage or stop swinging, whatever you want to call it, and go into therapy and do whatever it takes to make things right. Isn't that amazing? It is amazing, guys, the power of walking away. The power of the threat when they know you'll walk away when they push you too far. It's a common theme in all these stories. Problem is, in all these stories, whether posted online or subscribers submit stories that you guys send me on my other channel, most guys, they don't do this until the very end. While all you relationship guys should make it clear from the beginning your boundaries, should make it clear that you're going to, if she pushes you too far, disrespects you, whatever it is, you're walking. You got options. You could leave like that. You don't need her. You may want to be with her, but you don't need her. Make that clear. And it's amazing, that power. But once again, we had this whole thing, and of course she wants to work on it, and blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to go through this, guys, again. And again, this will show that these things do not work. The Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world we're in, and all these things that happen, they don't work. And it always just ends in disaster. So it starts off, he says, hey all, I apologize if this gets a little long, but I need to get this off my chest. We've been married for 10 years with a couple of kids along the way. A few years ago, my wife started traveling a ton for work, and I got really lonely. I'm working from home always, and almost 100% travel and work on weekends. He jumbled words together. That part doesn't make any sense, but whatever. He says, I got lonely, and I turned to alcohol after the kids went to bed. It was toxic, and we fought all the time. My wife and I, we grew distant, and my wife asked to separate. I got pretty depressed, but I got myself together and got out of that hole alone. I changed myself and started holding myself accountable, which greatly improved my self-esteem and myself in general. We ended up staying together, but my wife wanted more. She wanted to explore more sexually and brought up swinging. From this moment on, I was a different person and then the gung-ho supportive husband who believed in her forever. I became a self-sufficient, strong man who was just along for the ride. So it sounds to me, pretty much from the get-go, these two didn't have a very good thing going. And she wanted to split up. And honestly, they should have right then and there. But he worked on himself and everything like that. And then next thing you know, they're still unhappy. Shocker. Now she wants to do the swinging thing. And of course, he goes along with this because, as you're going to see, he doesn't want to mess things up for the kids, which is admirable that he loves his kids and he's willing to suffer. But life is short. No one should suffer. And I might add that those kids are going to be in a household seeing mom and dad where they essentially don't really love each other or don't love each other at all. They act like roommates, and those kids will think that's just how life is, and they'll end up in a situation just like that. And you're going to see pretty soon that obviously he realizes this. He says, well, I did feel hurt that I wasn't enough for my wife sexually. I also felt a little excited, and I wanted to keep our family together, so off we went. Smack. That's not the way to keep your family together. That's just making the family tear apart more. And if you don't want to do this, you shouldn't do it. And yeah, he was using that, well, I got a little excited thing to make himself feel better, but it's not what he wanted. I also had this urge to show her I'm more than enough. We had a lot of wild S-word encounters, and I was very sought after in our adventures. I ended up sleeping with 10 plus other women throughout this time, sometimes 3 at once. It was pretty wild. So again, you're doing this more to show her. It says at the same time, at the same time though, I had to watch multiple men F my wife right in front of me. I felt cheap and didn't love this lifestyle. Smack. So why are you in it? You should have ended it. It would have been hard, but you get through it. And who says you have to watch your F dudes in front of you? I guarantee she did that just to punish you or stick it to you. You know, they could be in a different room for goodness sake. My wife and I kept growing distant. Shocker. But still used each other sexually. We were like roommates with extra double S-word benefits, but we still didn't provide the most healthy relationship or home for our family or kids. See? Not all healthy. It's unhappy. And the kids are picking up on this. My wife started telling friends and people we knew locally when she was drunk that we were swingers, or would hint at it and flirt with other guys and girls. Sometimes this was okay, or I just was numb to it, but other times, especially with male friends in our group, it really pissed me off. So, to add insult to injury, now she has to freaking blab to everybody that she knows about this. And you know, people love to talk, people gossip, especially on juicy stuff like this, like, ooh, did you know such and such are swingers and blah, blah, blah. I guarantee the whole freaking town knew about that. This is just a mess, but this guy goes along with us. She also hooked up with one of her girlfriends, and I didn't find out until months later. I get that a lot of guys are probably questioning me right now, but I didn't want any of this. I just wanted somehow to grow old with someone and do lame family crap. Then you end it. The second she brings this stuff up, it's over, guys. I've said this countless times. Because if she actually wants you to have other women so she can justify her hooking up with other dudes, she doesn't love you. No woman that's in love with her guy ever wants other woman touch them. They don't want them even looking at him, right? Or flirting with him, let alone sucking his you-know-what and effing him here and there. No. And also hooking up with other dudes. One evening, we ended up picking up a girl at a bar. It was pretty normal for us, and it turned into a really fun night. However, with this girl, we didn't stop communicating. My wife said we could meet up without her, and this blew my mind. It was not okay from my side, and in talking with this new girl about it, she asked how my wife could allow that. I couldn't answer it, but in my mind, I just thought that she probably doesn't really love me anymore as much as the sex and just having someone there. Right. A lot of times these things have rules like, okay, you hook up, but that's it. There's no communicating with them or chatting with them or being pen pals or text buddies. His wife didn't care if he met up with her because it goes to show that there's no love left. She doesn't want to break up because this guy always helps contribute to the bills and have the outward appearance that everything's okay to the world, even though she blabs to everybody they're swingers. So here, then this girl kept asking more questions, and I answered, and I started realizing how much I had let our lives and our marriage get out of hand. At the same time, I developed feelings for this new girl as well, and it was all too much. I told my wife I wanted to split up. Hallelujah, bro. It's about freaking time. I never wanted to swing. I felt cheap, and I felt like we had gone the complete wrong direction. I told her everything that I thought we had done wrong and what was wrong with us. She agreed with me on almost all points and now wants to start over and try to make it work. Imagine that. She didn't care before, didn't care about all those women this guy was hooking up with and all the dudes she was hooking up with, and they were basically roommates. But the second this guy says, that's it, I'm done. I'm tired of this shit. I feel like crap. This is not the life I want to live. I don't want to be this type of guy as a father. And by the way, I found another girl. Oh, never mind. I'm willing to do anything to work on it. Shocker. She knows I like this other girl, but me and the girl agreed to stop communicating while we worked this out. We never cheated, we never met up, but we did talk and we had a really strong connection. I won't lie and say that the thought of starting over and dating her doesn't influence my thoughts. Well, I'm sure, but you know what? He shouldn't just leave this marriage and jump off and start a new relationship with this chick. This guy's got to work. He splits up with her, which he should. He should have done a long time ago. He needs to take some time to really work on himself and figure out what he wants, figure out why he's the type of person that allowed this, many other things before jumping into another relationship. Otherwise, he could rush into that, maybe even be dumb enough to get married again, and then he could be off to right back where he started. this could be a way to help him move on past this crappy marriage, but jumping into it, no. He says, now I'm really torn. I have to decide whether or not to try and make this work with my wife or to get a divorce and go forward on my own. She's willing to make all these changes and do anything to save our marriage. Well, why wasn't she ready to do that before? I'll tell you why. Because she didn't have competition before. Because he wasn't ready to walk like before. Now he is. We have 2 awesome kids I can't imagine only seeing half the time. But I don't want to stay together for the kids or end up that husband and wife that divorce the day after the kids go to college. If I knew we could pull through and make this work and provide a happy home for our kids, then I think it'd be worth it. On the other hand, we could split, start rebuilding now, and maybe provide 2 happy homes for the kids. There you go. Part ways. Start over. He can. He's a man. He can do it. It'll be hard at first, of course. He'll miss his kids. He only gets to see them half the time. But staying together, it's not going to work. It's just too much damage done. Okay? And he's never going to trust her. She's never going to trust him. No. There's a point when it doesn't work anymore. And yeah, they'll stay together now, but the second those kids graduate high school and go off to college, she'll be like, bye-bye. And I've seen families that have done this. Literally, the kid goes off to college. I knew a family growing up that were good friends with my parents. I went on vacations with them. They had a young daughter. She was an only child. The second, I shit you not, she was off to college for 1 week, and the father moved out. It was done like that. 1 week. I really don't know what to do. If I try hard to make this work now, I think we can get through a couple of years at least. I don't know if I'll ever be able to see my wife or our relationship the same. I won't ever be able to not see her with other people in front of me. It is also complicated with this other girl because I do believe we would date if me and my wife was split, and so this is clouding my mind. Is it worth it to suck it up a little for the kids, even if it might not be the happiest, and cause resentment? I don't really have anyone to talk to, and this isn't directly invested in this, so hi Reddit. Okay, he wants to know my opinion, or the opinion of the world, so here it is. No, don't stay with your wife. End it. Talk to an attorney, find out all your options, good, bad, or ugly. You know, what you're going to owe in terms of, alimony and child support, and the odds are she's going to get the house and all this stuff. What are your options? And then figure it out and move forward. And even if he has to live dirt cheap in a studio apartment for a while, he's rebuilding his money and figuring things out, or staying with a family member in their spare bedroom, whatever, at least he's on the path to turning things around, okay? And hopefully it can be amicable, because obviously, you know, she hasn't been psycho. She's been in the sense that, yeah, she's hooking up with other dudes, but she's not going psycho on him when he said he wanted to split. Hopefully she can be amicable. But staying together, no. He's never going to trust her. They're not happy. Too much damage is done. So I think he needs to end it, but not go rushing into a relationship with this chick. Otherwise, you make the same mistake all over again. Now, here's a few quick comments on this whole subject, because I always like to read them. One guy says, she wants to fix your marriage knowing that you were not enough. How is that possible long term? How enjoyable your relationship will be after her humiliation. Sounds as if your marriage ended the moment she took the job, my man. Banging who knows what, by the way. Yeah, anyway, she was traveling all the time. I'm probably willing to bet you that she was hooking up with somebody else. Plus, it will end exactly as you suspect, divorcing after the kids go to college. It says, think about it for a second. Now that you are desired by another woman who is clearly interested in you, she wants to work things out. Now you are enough. Her traveling will stop. Classic. See? And before, yeah, he was hooking up with other women, but he didn't have a connection. He didn't have an emotional bond with those women he was hooking up with. But this one he does. Nobody can tell you what to do, but perhaps spending your time enjoying a new relationship rather than fixing it will do you good. Seriously. As far as the kids go, your wife travels all the time, right? Sounds like you'll have the kids most of the time anyway. Ah, there you go. I didn't think of that. And last one says, I think your marriage is over when you agreed to swing and you weren't really into it. It's hard to do and say things that have damaging effects and remain the same. It might be good to start over completely, like not even with that chick you and your wife took home. There are a lot of women out there that want the lame family life like yourself. There are a lot of women that want that, but then a lot of women that claim they want that get bored and they're off hooking up with Chad and Tyrone, as all these stories show. But anyhow, guys, yet another story about the guy that went along with it reluctantly, which he shouldn't have, and then found out he was miserable, nothing changed, and then found a chick, and then realized, okay, I want to be done, and then now she wants to end it. Now she wants to close the marriage and work on it. Important lessons here. These things don't work out. The open marriage, open relationship, swinging things don't work unless that's how they start the relationship. And also the power of a man walking away. A power the guy has when he sets boundaries and lays down the law and she knows it. It's amazing. It could change the dynamic like that. Problem is, too many guys are total P-words and don't have the balls to do that in the relationship, let alone from the get-go. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story you found online you would like me to share, by all means, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just be sure to include the link because a lot of times guys forget, and I'll definitely cover it down the road. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.